Mwebekala Chalo. There's nothing more painful for a healthcare worker to see a child suffering. It is even more painful when this child dies because children are innocent and they usually don't make decisions about their own health. These decisions are just made on their behalf. Mwebekala Chalo, this is a very sad story that left a lot of healthcare workers that were involved fairly depressed. So one morning, this woman came in and came with this child that was in a state of severe dehydration. Alificha kwa tingana ala kwa tingana ngama monofu ati so kwati na fenda alefirwa nokupema. Elintu bamutire examine abali mumona ba first basangire ko bati uyu mwana was in a state that we call shock. So lyabale shock we bati bamusakamane. Someone went to talk to the mother to try to get the history of exactly what happened so that they could have an idea of what could have led this child to come in this state that was nearing her to death. The mother explained that when she was pregnant, the pregnancy was fairly normal. Through the normal process vaginally. Now when she went home, Vaisa noticed 2 days later that ilintu bale chinja omwana ma diaper basasanga kwa tutuma pink spots pali diaper yakwe. So at first she didn't think much about it, bamuchinchefe balabako. As she was changing the diaper again ushkunombalira bale amkulala baishesanga ko bati pali nomba blood. So she got worried, although at that point she was scared of telling anyone because she was afraid of something that would have been said about certain beliefs that were surrounding this child bleeding at that small age. So baishire munafe kwa tukwena fyala cha subside. Ofo bamufuikire fe diaper imbibalala nokulala. The following morning, however, nadintubale mchinja again basasanga kwe bati blood epo ichiri. So now she got worried, she was scared no mwana limbikutia for let me seek for some help. Baishire wa mami babo. Mami babo also involved a friend because it was also very foreign for her to see something like that happen. So into this friend now came. She came and said, no, umwana oyu akwete something that they used to call locally there as inkumbe. Inkumbe ila chitikerio abaishiro ndoko bati inkumbe ichitikerio omwana kashafyalwa ila bani signing ngatampo kubrida ninshitisa chako chirefu okufuma uyu mwana nga twamulekerera takula kwata abana ngakula. So she said she knew someone who knew a therapy that would work for this child. And it involved steaming this child nangolo kufutikira uyu mwana with certain herbs that they had. Ofo baambirana steaming that day mwana bam steaming and it continued. She said they were supposed to steam this child until they noticed that blood yaliko kufuma kuli ubwana kashi. Now unfortunately a day after bambo kumsteaming omwana banyina bashirebuka basanga omwana ali muri state yakwe bati talebuka buno nga bamusosha ngaresha kwa tarefu okulira talerira buno sana. That is how she got very worried because this child was looking as if alifu akwati kufenta. So that is when she brought this child to the hospital. Now what was going on in that child? Well, at this point, I expect that if you've been following my videos, you know at least what normally happens for a woman to get her period. You and I both know that normally women usually get their periods during puberty. And the reason why this happens is because of an interplay of hormones that build and shed the endometrium lining. Umwana kashuri wonse alikwata mfunga shibiri shaba very important in their reproductive life. Bali kwata estrogen na progesterone. Estrogen has the job of building the endometrium. Ishin sande sangamu endometrium mutisa shifwire shakula pako bachipekanya ko batapa apeke saikala umwana. So iruru funga lwa estrogen enchito lwa kwata. Now when a woman does not get pregnant, ishifunga shibiri estrogen na progesterone shirabwerera sana panshi chakwe bati endometrium taikwete chakuikata ya sheddinga, and that is how you have a woman bleeding during her periods. Now the question is, why doesn't a woman bleed when she's pregnant? Why doesn't she attend her normal menses? Well, it's because, remember, the thing that is causing these menses to start is these two hormones, estrogen and progesterone, yalebwerera panshi because this woman has not gotten pregnant. So there's nothing that is holding endometrium muri chichisa. Now during pregnancy, when this woman gets pregnant, mechanisms are put in place that make sure that throughout the pregnancy, this estrogen should be very high. That is throughout the pregnancy. This high estrogen will make sure that the endometrium is built and it is never shed because it is now holding a pregnancy. Now remember, when a woman is pregnant, ilifumo bakwata becomes like an added organ to their body. So almost everything that is flowing in the woman's blood has potential to cross the placenta and affect the baby, producing some effects that are actually very important for development. One of these things is funga lwa estrogen. Estrogen irengera muri ababa anero balepangwa ero nga yasanga okuba ti umwana olepangwa mwana kashi nakwatani etisana yena. It performs the same function that it performs in the mother. It helps ichisa cha mwana to establish its lining properly so that lirakesa afika pa puberty akambokula kwata ma period wino. So when this child is in utero nangulelo lumwana ali muchisa akaka endometrium isande shaka endometrium muchisa chako uli omwana olepangwa muchisa cha banina kalamba na keno kula kalepangika panono. Now, remember, in the normal circumstances, when this woman is not pregnant, we are saying the thing that is causing her to bleed during her period is this withdrawal of this estrogen and progesterone. Kanshi uyumwana oli muchisa mulya ta bleed because this estrogen and progesterone is constantly high and it is helping to maintain this endometrium that this baby has. But what happens when this baby is born? Well, when this baby is born, that product of estrogen and progesterone ishimfunga shibili shale fumakuli banina nishishale ko kuisa. Remember, shale isa because banina bali shikwete mubwingi mumulopa wabo. So dilo mwana afyalwa nishishaleka. Kanshi when the baby is born and this estrogen and progesterone is cut, we expect that there's nothing that will be holding this endometrium and it must be shed. This happens for all babies. Now normally, or in most cases, this endometrium is not developed so much that you actually see the blood as it is being shed. You usually not notice it because the blood that comes out is called microscopic because it was so small. But there are some cases where there was where this estrogen and progesterone cross the placenta so much that this endometrium muri umwana nombo ulepangwa mala yakula sana echa kwebatira kesa afyalwa akambo kupulidana to blood mwatampo kutumona. These are cases that actually happen and it is very normal. A child, a baby, can have her first period in the first few days after being born because of this phenomenon. Now, it is not something that usually happens. So when it happens, most people think as if it is a disease, like we have seen in this case. Now, what happened to this child for it to reach that extent of the hospital? Well, remember, this child had just been born. Skin yako na umbiri wakwe tawaishwa kuno kunefia kusungo amenshi uyu mwana ngaba exposed kuma environment yari harsh. So that steaming that they were doing to this child, that was very unnecessary for her. Yaishile sangokwe, but it made her very dehydrated, took her into shock, and sadly the ending of this story, Mwebekala Chalo, is that this baby died. Now imagine the pain that the mother must have felt after the doctors explained to her exactly what happened to this child and when she found out that there was actually nothing that was wrong. It is indeed very sad. These children, because of beliefs that we have in society, go through a lot. That is why I'll never stop talking about this. I'll never stop making such videos, and I'll never stop telling you that we went to school to study medicine. Doctors went to school to study medicine. Doctors are being employed by the government because they know that we know this knowledge about these diseases that may seem foreign to you. It is very common in our society to see something that you don't normally see and allude it to certain beliefs and witchcraft. Now, those beliefs take you to solutions that would be detrimental for you more than what the disease actually did. Like in the case of this innocent child that sadly lost her life because of a belief that led her to getting treatment that she did not need. Mwebekala Chalo na papata. If you want to ruin your own health as an adult, if you want to make certain decisions about your health, we can give you this information and you choose not to follow it. It's okay. It is for you because you are an adult, you can make your own decisions. But when it comes to children, please, whenever your child is sick, whenever you notice that your child has something that is out of the ordinary happening to them, do not rush to instilling therapies that may even be unnecessary for the things that they have. You are supposed to bring them to the hospital. The hospital should not be your last option. It is very common in our society that you go through all the other channels. And this is actually very sad. Ngana mkwata motoka yampera problem, the first person you call mechanic. But when you get sick, nangumana wenalwala, mwala first mupitane. By the time that you're coming to the hospital, it is too late, like in the case of this child. When it comes to children, do not compromise. Bring them to the hospital. Let us tell you if there's nothing we can do about it before you look for other solutions. Let us ensure that we give these children the best health that they need so that they can also grow up to the ages that we've reached and they can make their own decisions. Bring all children to the hospital, and this is all the information that I had for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time in my next video.